When you look at your relationships, do you notice a pattern? Not just in the people that you are dating or with your friends, in yourself. Have you noticed the way you react during conflict, when things don't go your way, when you're upset? What do you tolerate? What kind of friends or partners do you attract? Who are you attracted to and who do you find attractive? Have you noticed any pattern? You can take your time to think about it. But if you can relate to this video or you know somebody who can relate to it, please keep watching. It's going to help you and it is going to help them. My name is Adesua Ishenere and I am a certified marriage and family counselor and psychotherapist. I am an author, I'm a speaker and the host of this podcast. If you like healthy relationships and you want to learn more about that, then this channel is for you. I strongly believe that your past does not have to determine your future, but only if you're not ignoring it or you're not pretending that it does not exist. You can only build the future when you can look at the past, see what you have learned from it, see what does not work, look at what works, and then you can move forward. You can build something better. Today, we're talking about how trauma shows up in our relationships. Why it keeps us stuck in cycles. Why do we keep repeating particular kinds of cycles or behaviors or patterns? And I'll also be sharing a guide that I've written, a special ebook that I've written that would help us, understand what trauma is and how to get on the journey of healing. Let's talk about what trauma is. There is this misconception that trauma only has to do with grave or morbid things like war, like disasters, natural disasters. Something terrible has to have happened for you to say, oh, this is traumatic. But that is not true. Trauma is not about the event. Trauma is about what happens inside you. So two people can have, or have the same experience or go through the same thing and they react or respond differently to the same event because of what is going on inside them. There is epigenetics, there's just what you are predisposed to as a person. You would find that two siblings, two best friends, two partners in the same marriage go through the same thing, maybe the loss of a child or the loss of a job or something devastating has happened to the both of them and they respond differently. So trauma is not really about what has happened, like the event or the circumstance. It is about what goes on inside you, inside your mind, inside your brain, inside your body. That is what trauma is about. I like to define trauma as an emotional or a mental wound that happens to someone or occurs within the mind or the brain of somebody. Trauma can also be defined as the wound that forms inside of you when you go through an experience that overwhelms you or your strength or your capacity to cope with that thing. Like I said before, it's not about what happened, but what happened to you because of what happened. And it is especially tough to go through things when you don't feel safe or you feel alone or you feel like nobody understands. That kind of trauma is very internalized and it is harder to break that kind of cycle without the help of somebody. Let's talk about what trauma can look like. It can look like growing up in a home where love was unpredictable, where you're not really sure if mommy or daddy likes you, if they love you, if they accept you, if they want you around. Maybe they complain that you are too loud, your feelings are too much, you are different from your siblings, you are different from them, or your first experiences in romantic or platonic relationships, that's with your friends or with love interests. So that is how trauma presents. If you have been in a relationship that broke you in ways that you can't really explain, you have suffered betrayal that changed the way you trust people, or maybe you don't even trust people anymore, that is one of the signs that trauma has taken place. Loss, grief, you lost someone or you lost something, because when people think about loss and grief, they only think about when somebody dies, when you lose somebody close to you, like a friend or a family member. But grief can also take place when you lose opportunities or you lose the idea of something. For somebody who has lost a parent, they're not only losing the father figure or the mother figure, they are losing the possibility of a life they could have had if that parent was still alive and available to tend to their needs. So loss and grief happens in different ways with different people. And so if you don't grieve a loss properly, that is another way that trauma can show up. So trauma is not something so dramatic. It's just a pain that you have not processed well. And so, like I said, it is a wound and it just shows that there's something you have not attended to. So once you notice that this is a trigger, this is something that is going wrong, don't see it as a problem or I have a problem. No, just see it as this is what I need to attend to. And once I attend to it, I will be better. Just see it as a wound. If you have a wound on your arm, there's no sense in saying, oh, I have this wound and therefore I'm not good enough. This wound is going to kill me. No, you have seen that you have a wound. You have acknowledged that it exists. The best thing to do is to get treatment for it and you will feel better. But the longer you just stare at the wound, you don't attend to it, you don't treat it, you leave it, you keep peeling it because you keep getting triggered, the wound will continue to fester and you won't get the healing that you need. And so unresolved trauma does not stay locked away. What I mean by this is, if the event or that thing happened when you were 7 or 8 years old or 9 years old, and you think because now you're an adult, I've gotten over it, time has passed, it's been 10 years, it's been 15 years, that's not how it works. No. You can still experience the pain of that trauma, of that loss, of that betrayal, of that emotional neglect, even as an adult. So the trauma does not disappear because time has passed. It's just there, waiting for the day you will come and attend to it and get the healing that you need. So unresolved trauma does not stay locked away, and that's what I meant by that. Trauma also changes the way our brain processes strength, safety, intimacy, and connection. Somebody who has been sexually abused will see the gender who has abused them differently than the person who has never been abused. That's just the way it is. So it changes the way the brain processes threats. If somebody comes into a room and it's just you and they lock the door, it does something to you because you immediately feel unsafe. You immediately feel like this is a threat. Something is about to attack me. As opposed to somebody who has never been sexually or physically abused. If you come into the room and you lock the door behind you, you have just locked the door. That is it. No more, like nothing more is being read into that action. And so it changes the way in the person who has been traumatized, it changes the way they perceive people, perceive actions, perceive their own safety, perceive intimacy, and how they connect with other people, right? So let's move on to how trauma shapes who you choose, because the point of this whole episode is how trauma affects our relationships, right? So how does trauma choose your partner for you? I've said this before, that if you don't attend to your trauma, your emotional wounds, your wounds will keep choosing your partners for you. That's just the way it is. You are not always drawn to people that are good for you. You are drawn to people who feel familiar. So if you grew up with emotionally neglecting parents who did not attend to your needs, who said your own is too much, your emotions are too big, you should just keep things to yourself, you are likely to end up with partners who think the same. Not because you don't know what is better, but that is all that you know. That is what you are familiar with. And so you will always default to familiar, not to better. That's just the way it is. But you can change it, and we'll get to that soon. So your nervous system always seeks what feels like home, even if home was not safe, even if home was not ideal, it was not a perfect environment. It is possible that when somebody is not emotionally available to you, you won't see it as a problem. You see it as that's just who they are. So maybe I need to do more to earn their love, to earn their affection. It won't feel like a red flag. It will feel like, it's not bad. I've been through this before. After all, it didn't kill me. After all, I didn't die. I can also go through this. And so you find that people end up dating or marrying their parents in another version, even though they grew up hating those parents. So it's not enough to say, oh, I hate what my dad did, or I hate what my mom did. I'm not happy about what she did or what he did. It is still possible that you would end up with a partner who thinks or behaves like that parent, not because you don't like peace of mind or because you enjoy suffering, but if that is all that you know and you are familiar with, you will keep choosing people who have the same tendencies. You're not a bad person. You just don't know better. Once you know better, you will choose better and you will have healthier relationships. That's just it. It also shows up as choosing chaos as normal. And this is very obvious or prevalent in trauma-bond relationships where, there's chaos today, there's peace tomorrow, everything is okay today, they're fighting tomorrow. You see that high, like the highs and the lows of that relationship, it creates like an addiction type of attachment in your mind. So you see it as, we love each other, a rough patch. We love each other, a rough patch. That high and low is making your brain feel like, once there's danger, there will soon be peace. So let me just stay. And so you can see that this relationship is very abusive, this friendship is toxic, but because you would eventually resolve the issue, you say, let me just stay. After all, we will soon settle. But it's not healthy for you. Not that conflicts are bad, but when the conflicts are becoming regular, so frequent, and you're having the issues about the same topics, like the same thing is causing issues over and again, you need to check it. So once you find that you are attracted to chaos over peace, it is a sign that your trauma is choosing your partners or your friends for you. It also shows up when you feel like you have to chase this person, you have to do this for them to like you, you have to do this for them to love you. That is another way that trauma is choosing, because you are used to people pleasing. So if I make them happy, they'll be happy and I'll be happy. But that's not how a healthy relationship should be. This whole conversation is not about, oh, putting the blame on you, or making you feel like a bad person. No. I just want to bring it to your consciousness that this pattern is unhealthy. And once you notice it, once you are aware and you take action, you can have a different experience, a better experience, if I might add. So, how does trauma show up in our relationships? Even when you have made a good choice, you can still have issues in that relationship. And let me explain. So, you have made a good choice, you have a good partner, healthy, you're enjoying the relationship. When you get triggered, because you will get triggered, when there's a wound and it's just there, you will get triggered. Unattended wound, you will get triggered. And so your partner subconsciously triggers you, or something happens around you that triggers that wound. You will take it out on your partner. That is one way your trauma shows up in relationships. Let me give an example. Your partner misses your call, or you feel like they're not paying enough attention to you. It's not about what that current partner is doing. It is about the need that has been there since you were a child, since you were in that relationship many years ago that did not fulfill that need. So your partner is not picking your calls right now. You take it, your interpretation of that missed call is that they don't care, they don't love you, they don't value you, they don't prioritize you. But the truth is, it was just a missed call. That is it. There is nothing more to it, because your partner was not intentionally seeking to harm you or to make you feel threatened or to threaten your safety in that relationship. But because there are wounds that are still there, you are triggered by their own actions. So it's not about what is happening, it's about how you are interpreting it. And so to your partner, it won't be a big deal. To be like, well, it was just a missed call. I was busy. If you had asked me what was happening, I would have explained to you. But you have gone off because how did they miss your call? Why are they not available to do this? Why did you not do that for me? You have made it personal when it was never personal. So your relationship is not the issue. It is the baggage that you brought into that relationship that is now unpacking itself. So it's not enough to choose a good or a healthy partner. Are you a healthy partner? If you are not, you can always make changes. It is not condemnation. You can always make changes. Let's talk about patterns. The first one is trigger storms. So a trigger is something that happens in the present that activates a wound from the past, right? So it could be anything. It could be a random disagreement, just something small in the relationship, but it makes you remember something that has happened in the past that you did not fully heal or recover from. And so it can send you into, you know how sometimes you're having an argument and your heart begins to beat fast. You can just jump into fight mode or flight mode or freeze mode. It's not really about what is happening right now. It is about the fact that that incident has triggered something in the past. So you think you are reacting to your partner's actions, but what you are really reacting to is that thing that has happened before that day, like in the past. You are not reacting to the missed call or the lack of attention. You are reacting to the deep need inside of you that still wants to, you want to make up for that thing that has happened in the past. So somebody in your past did not love you properly or love you correctly. And what you are reacting to is that incident, not the present one. That is the first pattern, trigger storms. The second pattern is avoiding intimacy, because to be intimate is to be fully known, is to be fully seen, for somebody to see you at your most vulnerable state. And maybe your first experience with being vulnerable was not so pleasant. Maybe somebody took advantage of you, or they mocked you, or they used it against you in one way or another. And so now it doesn't feel safe for you to be vulnerable and for you to experience that intimacy and connection with somebody else. Again, something has happened in the past that is affecting the present. And if you don't watch it, it will continue to affect your future relationships. For those whose vulnerability has been exploited, intimacy can feel very dangerous. So you want closeness, you want to be close to this person, with your partner, with your friend, but it's like when somebody gets close to you, the fear just comes. What if they do this? What if they do that? What if they misbehave? What if they take me for granted? And so you pick a fight, you become cold, you push them away. So they haven't even done anything bad, they haven't even hurt you. But your defense is just saying, before they do it, let me just stay away. Before they come too close to hurt me, let me just stay away. That is intimacy avoidance. So you call it, oh, I'm just trying to create space. I just want to be independent. No, you are avoiding intimacy. Your nervous system is trying to protect you, trying to defend you underneath from something that is a potential danger. But the truth is, the person has not done anything to actually harm you. This is just fear. It's just fear. The third pattern is performing instead of connecting. This is more prevalent in people pleasing. So people who are people pleasers, they want to sacrifice everything just to make other people happy and hear well done and hear thank you. So these kind of people have learned early that love is conditional. If you do this, I will do this for you. If you don't do this, I won't do this for you. And so they have taken it into their adult relationships. That is how they still show up in their adult relationships. So they feel like they have to earn their place. They have to be good enough. They have to be helpful enough. They have to be kind enough, sweet enough. They just have to package themselves so that people can accept them and love them and care for them. And so as an adult, what you are doing is you are managing, you are settling. It's not love. You are actually managing, you are actually settling. And so you would never really experience being loved for yourself because there is a person that you present to people and that is who they like. But the real you may go unnoticed, might go unloved properly because you're not opening up yourself for people to really see you. You can say no and still be loved. You can say not yet and still be loved. But there's something in you that is saying, let me not say no. Let me just do what they want so that they'll be happy. And it is very unhealthy. Now let's talk about the cycle and why it keeps on going. And by cycle, I'm talking about cases where you leave the relationship, you go back, you leave the friendship, you go back, you say, oh, this time it will be different. But what you are doing is enforcing the trauma bond. In some cases, it's not even the same person. So if we look at 4 or 5 of your previous relationships, there is a pattern because you are attracted or attractive to a certain kind of person. So you think, well, I've broken up with this person, and so that person was the problem. But your new relationship, the same issues are happening. And so you have to look at yourself. Why am I attracting these kind of people? Or why am I attracted to these kind of people? Why am I why do they find me attractive and why do I find them attractive? So it goes both ways. So that's how you have to look at it. So it's a cycle and it will keep on going if you don't check it. If you're having the same kind of arguments in your different relationships, they said something here, something here, something here, and you're responding the same way. Like even when it is different people, there's a way you just take on the conflict and take on the confrontations. Then you have to look within because it's not really about them. It's more about you. Another cycle can be seen in our attachment patterns. And attachment is like your earliest idea of what love is and what you have to do for love. And in the guide I was referring to earlier, I spoke more about the different attachment styles and how to identify yours and what to do to get to the secure attachment, which is the ideal attachment level. So there's more about that in the guide. I'll be talking more about it later. But attachment patterns are the coping mechanisms or the strategies that we developed as children to get love, to receive love, or to get our needs met, to give us a particular, a sense of safety. So there's that. And the way we have learned how to be loved as children, we carry it into our adult relationships, unless you change it, because it can be changed. That's the good news. It can be changed. So let's talk about what healing actually looks like. Healing is not a destination. It is a journey. That means you don't arrive there in one day or in 1 week and say, now I'm healed. Everything is good. All my relationships, we are good. No, it is a journey. That means you will get triggers even along the way. But as you make progress, you are getting better. The same things that used to trigger you that will make you flare up and overreact and cause thunder and lightning in the relationship, now you are able to handle them calmly. You are able to regulate yourself emotionally and you can handle that conflict in a better way. So you will get triggered. The goal is not, I will never get triggered. The goal is when I get triggered, I know how to handle it better. That is a better way to look at it. Healing is also a series of choices that you make consistently over time. So it's not in one big thing that you do. No, is that tomorrow you decide that I will not do this, I will do this. I won't respond this way, I will respond in this way. Healing also slowly changes the neural pathways that have been carved in your brain. Think of a literal pathway that you walk on from your house to your store or from your house to a shop around you. That pathway, you have worked on it over time. If you want to change direction, you have to now create a new pathway that will get you from this same point to a different destination. So before, you used to walk from here to here to here to here, and you end up here. But you have noticed the pattern. I don't like where I end up when this happens. I don't like the fact that when somebody is trying to get close to me and love me and be my friend, I push them away. I find faults in them and I condemn them, and so we're not friends. I don't like it anymore. I want to get to the point where I can receive love, I can love people, they can show up for me, and we are good. So this is a different destination. Now you have to create a different pathway that will take you from here to here. Because if you keep walking on this path and you say you want to get here, it's not possible. You'll keep ending up here. I'm trying to be as graphic as possible, but you get it. So from this point, you want to get to that point. You will begin to create new pathways this way. And at first, it will be strange. It won't be convenient. It might even feel painful. But the destination should be what is on your mind. That should be your goal. This is what I want to achieve, a healthier version of myself. It is painful now creating these new pathways, but as I keep doing it, I keep at it, I will get there one day. I will keep making progress until I get to that point, and I will be in a better and healthier version of myself. And that is the goal. You won't just wake up tomorrow and say, I'm not going this way anymore, I'm going this way. No, it will take time, and it is okay, as long as you keep taking that pathway to get to your destination. Are we together? Good. So the good news is your brain is neuroplastic. It can change. If you listen to Dr. Lee Warren, I just came across his content a few weeks ago, and it has been so insightful how your brain changes every day. Your brain changes every day. That just shows that your brain is like, let me just say, your brain is like rubber. It can be easily molded. For something that is changing every day, it just means that if you want to have a different result, you have to just put in a different kind of information. You know how they say garbage in, garbage out? If you have been feeding your mind with garbage and all you get is garbage, what neuroplasticity is saying is that you can now begin to put in good stuff to get out the good stuff. So it was garbage in, garbage out. Now it is good in, good out. And it takes time. It takes practice, but you will definitely get there. So your brain is neuroplastic. It can change even after significant trauma. Even in adulthood, I'm 45, I'm 50, I'm 65, I can't change again. It's not true. You can change. You cannot go back to the past to change anything, but you can change the present and change the future. And so that is the good news, that new pathways can be built, old patterns can be replaced, but it takes intentional, consistent effort and support from people who love you, from a counselor, from a therapist, from your friends, from those who genuinely love you and want to see you, flourish. It can change. What does healing look like in practice? The first thing is for you to name what has happened. Not for social media, not in public, privately. Why am I pushing this person away? It is because I am afraid that if I get too close, I will hurt them, or they will hurt me, or if they leave, then I will now be left vacant. Name it. That is how you feel. It's not you cursing yourself or proclaiming negativity. No, you are naming what it is. And once you can name it, it stops becoming a mysterious or a vague thing. You have named it. It has become a common thing. Why do I keep attracting people like this? It is because I grew up with this, and that is why I still feel like this is the normal, but it is not normal. Name it. What was done to you? What did you learn about yourself? What do you believe about love, about safety, about how you deserve to be treated? Name it. Talk about it. And this is very good for introspection. It's not a rabbit hole for depression. No, it just means you are able to name what has happened. And the second thing you can do is to get the right kind of help. And I know that in Nigeria and in many African communities, we still don't accept mental health as a thing. They'll just tell you, oh, you'll be fine. Just eat. Once you eat now, you eat your favorite food and you sleep and you rest, you'll be fine. But you have eaten your favorite food. You have rested, you have slept, you've gone on vacation, you have done all the things that they've told you to do. You still don't feel good. You're still anxious. You're still dependent. You still see control as love. You still have the same anger issues. You're still depressed. You're still tired all the time. And it's coming from your mental health. So the right thing to do is to challenge it, not hide from it, not try to bury it, not find another name for it. Challenge it. Seeking help is not weakness. Seeking help is not weakness. It is wisdom to even seek help and say, this is what has happened to me. This is what I'm going through. This is my experience. And if I can work on this and address this and do that, I will become a better person. That is wisdom. So it's not a weakness. It is you just being wise and taking good care of yourself. That is it. We have trauma-informed therapists all over the world, in Nigeria, abroad. So please find one and talk to them. I am one. You can talk to me. The third thing here is to do the daily work every day, because you have to learn to catch the triggers early, catch yourself early. Otherwise, you will just say, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. 6 months from now, you'll still behaving the same way, talking the same way, responding the same way. So working on it is actually a daily job. It is a daily job. It's not dramatic, but every day you keep talking to yourself. You are going through therapy or counseling. You are making changes. You are reading the right resources to help your brain change in the positive way this time around. So you must do the daily work. Number 4 is build safe relationships. Most of the trauma that we have experienced happened in relationships. And so we would also heal them in relationships. So we need new experiences. We need people who would truly love us without conditions. We need our boundaries to be respected. We need our nervous system to feel safe again. And this will happen in safe relationships. So as you unlearn the traumatic patterns of your past, you can now identify healthy partners. So when you see somebody who is healthy, who loves you genuinely, who wants to love you without conditions, you can see them as not a threat anymore, as somebody who is worthy of your time and your devotion, and you can commit to them, also committing to your own growth, and you can have a good relationship. Because the people who have hurt you have gone, but there are so many people in your future who can love you and take care of you and be good to you and be kind to you. So please allow them. The truth is, you cannot heal alone. You need a guide. You need somebody to help you. You need people in your corner, people who genuinely care about you, to guide you on this healing journey. And speaking of guides, I have written a book for you. It's titled The Wounds We Carry, How to Heal Them and Stop Hurting Others. The book covers all kinds of trauma, the complex trauma, generational trauma, spiritual trauma. It also refers to addiction as a result of trauma. It's one of the most important connections that you can understand. It talks about neuroplasticity. I was talking about that earlier, but it talks more about it and how your brain actually heals itself and becomes better. There are also many practical tools, resources, and prayers in there that you will find very, very helpful. I wrote it for you and the people that you love. So whether this applies to you or somebody that you know, you will definitely find it helpful. The link will be in my description or in my bio on Instagram and TikTok. Get that book for yourself today. You need it. Somebody that you know needs it. Somebody's future relationships is dependent on the wisdom they would get from that guide, and you can give that gift to them. So please check my bio. You will find the link there. And just to close, I want you to know that you are not broken. You are not damaged. Something damaging might have happened to you. Something might have broken your heart, broken your trust in people, but you can heal from it. You can get better. This is not your final bus stop. You are a human being, which means you are constantly under renovation, constantly in progress, like constantly trying to get better. So please take advantage of this. You need to get better. The world needs a healthier you, because you will keep showing up in your relationships with the wounds from your past. You will keep bleeding on people who did not hurt you until you take your healing personally, intentionally, and decide that it is time to change. You don't have to repeat the same cycles of hurt, of abuse, of trauma that has happened to you. Your healing requires honesty, it requires dedication, it requires intentionality. So please get started on it today. Okay. Thank you for watching today. I'm sure you found this video helpful. Please like it, share it, and subscribe. There'll be videos like this every week. Send this video to that person you know who needs help, who needs to learn about what is going on in their minds, in their hearts, and how they can get better and how they can become healthier versions of themselves. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.